Hi, my name is Amanda Kong, and I'm one of the pre-health advisors here in the College of Arts and Sciences in Tyson Hall. And today I'm going to be talking to you about optometry prerequisites. So in order to be eligible to apply to optometry programs after you graduate, you must complete, a certain amount of a certain kind of prerequisite courses. So this presentation is going to go over the common requirements for optometry programs that will get you into about 80 to 90% of those programs. We'll also talk about coursework that may vary from program to program, as well as any highly recommended courses that may be necessary. And we'll also talk a little bit about resources or nuances regarding this coursework, and then resources for how to imagine and schedule out the rest of your time here at UO. Okay. So we'll go ahead and start with the common requirements. So like I said, if you follow these common requirements, that will make you eligible to apply to about 80 to 90% of programs across the country. However, please be aware that these prerequisites are different than the major requirements and also from the university requirements to graduate. So just because you're filling out these prerequisites does not mean that you're fulfilling your major, perhaps. It might not mean that you will have enough credits to graduate. So it is a good idea to actually, do the math and make sure you're meeting all of those criteria, right? Okay, so in order to become eligible to apply to optometry programs, the first thing that you're going to need to do is to take 1 year of general chemistry with labs. That's Chem 221 and 227, Chem 222 and 228, and Chem 223 and 229. You're also going to need 1 year of general biology with labs. That's Bio 211, Bio 212, and Bio 214. If you are a biology major, you will have to take Bio 213. For non-biology majors, you're fine with 212 and 214. You do not need 213 in between those. You'll also notice here that in opposition to chemistry, right, biology does not have a separate lab course. So whereas in chemistry, you have to enroll in Chem 221 as well as Chem 227, right? 221 is a lecture, 227 is a lab. The biology sequence actually has the labs embedded within the course. So biology 211, 212, 214, these are all 5-credit courses. So you can think of them as having a 3-credit lecture and a 2-credit lab all within the same class. You're also going to need 1 year of organic chemistry. So that's Chem 331, 335, and 336. You'll need 1 year of physics with lab. That's physics 201 and 204, physics 202 and 205, physics 203 and 206. You'll also need 1/4 of statistics. For most people, that's going to be stats 243Z. If you're a psychology major or a neuroscience major, it's highly likely that you'll be taking either Psych 302 or Math 425 for your statistics requirement for your degree. Bear in mind that you cannot take Math 425 if you've already taken stats 243Z. So chances are, if you have AP credit for stats, that's going to prevent you from being able to take Math 425. For biology majors, again, if you haven't taken stats 243Z at the community college level or done AP stats, you should take Math 425 because that will actually count as the MAPS requirement as part of your degree. You're also going to need 1/4 of calculus. This can be Math 251 or Math 246. Math 251 is Calculus 1, Math 246 is Calculus 1 for life sciences. The word problems are a little bit different. They're a little bit more oriented towards biology. There's a little bit more computer modeling in there. That's the main difference between 251 and 246. One is not easier than the other. They just cover slightly different areas of focus. You'll also need around 1 to 2/4 of anatomy and physiology. So 1/4 of anatomy and physiology would be Hyphy 321 and 322. Hyphy 321 is anatomy 1, Hyphy 322 is physiology 1. If you need an additional quarter, you're going to be doing Hyphy 323, which is anatomy 2, and Hyphy 324, which is physiology 2, right? And then there's also, if you want to finish out the whole sequence, there's another class in the spring that's a combination of both anatomy and phys. You'll also need medical terminology. That's Hyphy 211. Scientific investigations in physiology, Hyphy 212. You'll notice that both of these are in yellow. The anatomy and phys classes are in red. I'll talk about this color codes more towards the end of the slide here. You'll also need 1/4 of psychology or some kind of intro to psychology class. Psych 201Z or Psych 202Z would be good for these. Psych 202Z also counts as a social science requirement. You'll also need 1/4 of microbiology, just the lecture. So that's Bio 330. Okay, so now I said we talk about these different color codes. So for the red font, Hyphy 323 and Hyphy 324, that's that additional quarter of anatomy and physiology. And again, that may vary from program to program. So not every single program wants that second quarter of classes, right? These classes in yellow, Hyphy 211 and Hyphy 212, are actually not required for optometry programs, but they are required for you to be able to take anatomy and physiology here at UO. So just like these prerequisites are separate from your major requirements, right? Your major classes, or your science classes, I should say, in general, might also have prerequisites. For anatomy and physiology, in order to get into that sequence, you need to have done Chem 223, Bio 212, Hyphy 211, and Hyphy 212 before you can get there, okay? So Hyphy 211 and 212 are going to be necessary for anatomy and phys here at UO, but not necessary for optometry programs. You'll also need 1/4 of biochemistry, which is Chem 360. Okay, so for those requirements that may vary, right? Like I said, program to program, you may need to take some extra anatomy and phys. You might find a program that wants the labs for OChem and microbiology, and that's why it's really important to do your research. So here are some tips and tricks about these prerequisite courses. Number one, they are required to be graded and you need to get a C or better. If you're doing something like first term grade forgiveness or taking it pass no pass in order to protect your GPA, that's totally fine. I encourage that. That's a smart move. However, you will have to repeat the course at some time for that grade. Some prerequisites must be taken between 5 to 7 years of actually entering your optometry program, right? Matriculating into that program. Typically, these tend to be the biology and anatomy and physiology classes. Again, do your research and look on their admissions page. If it says that these courses will expire, it will say it there and it will say it very clearly. Acceptance of AP and IB credit can vary. So some programs will accept it, some programs won't. It also depends on what kind of AP credit you have. So for example, if you have AP biology, that coursework could expire, right? So make sure that you're doing your research. So some general rules of, or a general rule of thumb is to follow our common requirements list. Like I said, that'll get you into about 80–90% of programs, or I should say make you eligible to apply to 80 to 90% of programs. And I've been saying that you should research programs, right, for the past 2 slides. How will you do that? Well, number one, take a look at the American Association of Schools and Colleges of Optometry. ASCO has a optometry directory site. I believe that they also have a student-facing site called like ICU, where their goal is to promote optometry education and optometry as a profession. There are all kinds of nice resources in regards to like shadowing and things like that as well. So definitely check out ASCO and its affiliated websites out. Okay, when you're doing the research on those programs, you might see some language that's pretty confusing. So here at the University of Oregon, we are on a quarter system, right? All of our credits are calculated for the quarter system. You might be looking at a school that is a semester system school, and everything that they list is in semester credits, right? How do you figure out if you have enough? So if you're looking to convert semester credits to quarter credits, so for example, you're doing research on the school and they're saying that you need 3 semester credits of biochemistry. You would multiply that number, that semester credits, by 1.5. So biochemistry, 3 semester credits of biochemistry is actually 4.5 quarter credits. Now, our biochemistry class is only 4 credits large, right? What should you do? Well, number one, reach out to these programs. A lot of the times these programs will actually, round up for you. So if you're taking 4 quarter credits, but you need 4.5, they'll say, that's close enough, you're fine, right? However, there are some schools who stick to these credit conversions very strictly. So if they say they want 4.5 quarter credits, you need to get at least 4.5 quarter credits. If you need to take another whole class and end up with 8 credits total, that's totally fine. That's what they want. So make sure that you are doing that research and conversion. If you are trying to figure out how quarter credits translate to semester credits, it's just the reverse of this process. You're going to divide your quarter credits up by 1.5 in order to arrive at the semester credits. Okay. So that's it for the major overview of optometry prerequisites. We're actually going to have another video posted up on our YouTube page that kind of goes over how to develop a 4-year graduation plan or a 2-year graduation plan or however many years that you need left. So, go ahead and watch those videos. But before you do that, keep these things in mind, right? Number one, like I said, courses here at UO have prerequisites as well. So make sure that you know how to do the research and to find out whether or not these courses have these prereqs. If you have already taken some coursework and you've maybe gotten a less than ideal grade, right? Are you planning on any retakes? Because you need a C or better in all of your prerequisite classes. And how are you using your summers? Are you going to use them to do core ed classes? Are you using them to take extra science classes or, the science classes that are required? Are you using them to gain experiences and exposure, right? Consider how you're working in summers to the rest of your schedule. Okay, thank you very much for sitting through this presentation on optometry prereqs. As I said, in order to get started on your graduation plan, please head over to our YouTube and check out our grad planning video. Thank you very much.